Hey everyone, Angelo here, homeless filmmaker in LA, living in my car for about 16 months now. My allergies are acting up, and every time they do, I get nervous. But I'm trying to be well, take vitamins. I don't know if these are actually good for you or not. They got lots of these at the food bank. These antioxidant fusion drinks from Bai. I was just thinking today, I was like, man, if my mom can't come to LA this summer, which she assuredly will not be able to do because of all this chaos, and I probably shouldn't go to Virginia. I mean, I have no real reason to now. It's just a risk to mine and other people's health. When's the next time we're going to see each other? In 8 months from now, 10 months from now, will this all be over? A year? It's not the worst thing in that I talked to her on the phone. It's like she's right there. And unfortunately, I'm still not quite processing everything quite right because of my dissociative disorder, but it's getting better. But I realize not only I don't know when I'll see my mom again, but for a lot of people, this may be the last time they're ever around the people close to them. Because they don't know if older family members of theirs, or really a lot of people in America who have health problems, may succumb to this infection. And how foolish are we trying to figure out, as if that's an actual strategy, well, how much is it really worth it to try and save lives than to open up stores and get people working again, where the hospitals will be overwhelmed? And it's not really any kind of strategy like Trump's trying to enact, because he can't do that. He can't make people go back to work. Many of them won't. General strike. Britney Spears talked about a general strike, comrades. But what he can do with it is use it to say, look, things are still shut down. I argued they should be reopened. And that way, when the unemployment numbers are so bad and the hospitals are so overwhelmed, he can argue, along with the corporate media that's just presenting his point of view without challenging it, or presenting it as a debate, as if there's any debate and it's not just genocide. So he can say, well, look, at the election, it's the Democrats' fault all this is happening. And don't get me wrong, they're very complicit in this. Very, very complicit. Absolutely cheering it on in many ways, because they don't give a damn either. Nancy Pelosi blocked measures to give relief to regular Americans. But his support is up because, again, the media is manufacturing consent for him. So anyways, I'm doing what I can. I did 510 push-ups today. That was good. So today is Tuesday, and I'll put it up on Wednesday, probably. Still trying to eat well, save my money. I unenlisted myself from all the auto pay billing that I could. Planet Fitness, they freezed all the payments, so that's good. I don't have any payment going out to them while all their gyms are closed right now. My bank, they're allowing people to delay their payment for over a month on their credit cards. So I applied for that. But everybody, you should be doing this stuff. Have money for food. Don't worry about paying, the people you owe money to right now. T-Mobile, I split up my payment into 2 payments for next month, but still that's a lot, and I messaged them waiting to hear back. Is there any other help I can get? Because this isn't just going to be next month. It's going to be potentially 2 months in LA at the very least, and who knows beyond that. And then what the film industry will look like, let alone any health problems I may be having. Or health problems the other filmmakers I'm going to work with. If this movie I was set to work on, if it does resume, hopefully everybody involved is still healthy and able to travel and able to make time to work on this. What else did I unenroll from? My car insurance. Yeah, I stopped the automatic payments. They said they're not going to lapse anyone's coverage for a while if they don't pay. So I'm just not worrying about that right now. And I've been talking to more journalists who are doing stories about what it's like to, just this general situation, but also living in my car in LA. And even specifically entertainment workers who live in their cars in LA. I talked to at least one journalist about that. I talked to at least 6 or 7 journalists in the last week. One person I follow on Twitter, Talia Lavin. It's weird. I look at people's pictures all the time on Twitter, but I don't read their names. I know her name, but I forget if it's Lavin. Yeah, I think it's Lavin. She's a journalist. She said her mom works in a hospital and she has 1 mask left, and she was putting out an urgent call for masks, and people donated 100, but they're short on masks there for doctors. And what are we going to do when healthcare workers start dying or need to be hospitalized because of this? This is absolutely shameful what we're doing and how we're supporting this buffoon who's just like a dog in the White House. I say like a dog because he can only focus on whatever's in front of his face. And he has no ability to plan ahead. Anyways, I keep talking to my mom. She's well, but, what can we do? There's no point in worrying about tomorrow or the next day. And I'm glad I moved into my car because it gave me discipline. It gave me character. And also, it allows me to live. I would fucking hate to be living with my old landlord. She was a real nice lady, but there are no good landlords. And housing is only unaffordable because there are landlords, and landlords only exist because housing is unaffordable. But I would hate to have to live with her, because that's what I did, the arrangement. I lived with her and roommates, and knowing that she wanted, if she needed my rent right now and I couldn't pay it, that would be a disaster. And also, I just hate being in Virginia anyways. And living with other people. But it's tough. I worry about the people I see at the food bank. Are they going to get sick, My goodness. I mean, they're older, and at least one of them is maybe approaching, like senior citizen. The other one's a little younger, but still. Right now, what can we do, We all have a responsibility to other people to be well, to separate ourselves from others for the sake of the quarantine. What they call flattening the curve, meaning instead of having a huge spike in infections, which overwhelms the healthcare system to where people are lined up on hospital floors, hallways, lined up in the street, and people are dying in their homes, dying in the street. Instead of that, slowing the rate of infection greatly so that a much smaller number of people go to the hospital at any given time, and doctors aren't forced to choose between who to give tests to, which they're already having to do, and who's going to get on ventilators or oxygen, and who's going to die, because they decide, okay, well, this person's more likely to live, we have to treat them now. If they're to live, and the other person may be less likely, we can't treat them. It's surreal watching old movie clips and TV shows where I see people together even fighting. I'm like, there's a part of me like, oh, you can't do that. Like, hey, stop. I'm like, oh yeah, they didn't have to worry about an incredibly infectious disease going between them, traveling between them. So, just be smart, be reasonable. Look out for other people. I'm just trying to exercise. I don't have any more books to read. I may reread 1 or 2 on screenwriting. But, excuse me. All the bookstores are closed pretty much. And I looked at Goodwill. Goodwills are closed. Smart thing to do. And instead of ordering from Amazon, those greedy fucks, Jeff Bezos, the richest person in the world, he wants to give money to people in assistance. So what he's doing, he's asking for donations from people. How sociopathic can you be where you don't just immediately give like half your wealth to help this crisis, because he doesn't know if it'll affect him or not, if he'll get infected. But these guys are so fucking senseless. I read this about in the 1800s when the same type of arrogance of doctors who would do autopsies and go to child and then immediately go help women with childbirth without washing their hands. And there was a doctor who said, washing your hands will help prevent deaths, and I guess he had the stats to do it. And it wasn't just him, midwives, I guess, were doing that too. So they knew the rate of deaths was way lower between the mothers and their children. But doctors refused to wash their hands. Why? Because they said gentlemen's hands are never dirty, and if we had to wash our hands, that would be saying we're not gentlemen. It's like, oh, no, can't be me. I'm too white, I'm too rich, I'm too good, I'm clean. And look what happens. So that's the mentality a lot of people still have. So you got to get that out of your head. You think, oh, this is something to get Trump right now. This is like doing it to get Trump. You don't know who's going to get this and who could get seriously sick from it and suffer horribly. So, think about your responsibility to others right now to create, organizations that help each other, to strike, to go on strike with your employers if they're not treating you guys right, if they're not paying you paid sick leave. I always mess that phrase up. Tenant rent strikes. So greedy landlords aren't evicting you now and putting you out on the street when you don't have money for rent. April 1st is still coming. That's when a lot of bills are due. So fortunately, I'll get by right now, it looks like. But man, I don't know how it's going to work out. Like, there's just so many things that could, one person doing one thing, it could be like, it's like, and that happens on, the news. One person says one bit of false info, and then other people listen to it and start spreading it and goes up to the White House. So we don't know, what's going to potentially totally change how people view this and how they treat each other and how they behave. So, be sensible, be responsible toward others. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, share it. I'm going to keep giving updates, keep checking on my mom. Fortunately, it looks like the governor of Virginia ordered schools shut down till the end of the school year. Thank goodness. Because I told my mom, if school opens up because Trump, wants people to go back to work, don't go. And she's like, well, I'll lose my job. But she knows the seriousness of this, though. So she does. It's not like she would want to. And thank goodness, looks like the governor closed it down for the school year. So, we have to be really concerned now. We could end this a lot sooner or make it a lot harder for ourselves. So again, like the video, subscribe to the channel. There's a lot of other funny videos here if you're just finding my channel. And I hope to resume something like along the lines of filmmaking at some point. I'm still getting over my dissociative disorder. It's getting a lot better though. Thank goodness it is. All right.